Hello, friends, and welcome to the Gesundheit Kitchen. My name is Hans Rufert, and I get asked quite often about this idea of these meal prep kits. And so I want to talk a little today about that, but also about what I think is sort of the better alternative to those meal kits. So I don't want to mention any by name, but you see the marketing for these things all the time. And typically they're kind of like a subscription service where you pay a monthly fee and they send you a box. And you can kind of pick some parameters when you set up the account. Are you diabetic? What foods you extreme likes and dislikes. And I understand the allure of that, right? It kind of takes the guesswork out of what am I making for dinner. For somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience in the kitchen, maybe it gives you a nice set of instructions. Things are pre-packaged and pre-portioned. But it also takes, to me, a lot of the fun out of why I cook. And I've said this before, if you can change your mindset to going from I have to make a meal tonight to really kind of having that paradigm shift to changing it to what do I get to make tonight? Like, how do I spend more time in the kitchen? So, if you're just learning how to cook and you feel like you need that sort of, training wheels, a meal prep kit might be good. But there's a lot of waste in there, especially, if you are eating smaller portions, as many of us that had GI issues are eating smaller portions. There's a lot of material waste, a lot of plastics, a lot of packaging that end up, on the bigger environmental scheme. It's got a pretty heavy footprint when it comes to that kind of environmental waste. But again, when we do have compromised GI systems, we kind of get our safe foods, like what things work well for us. And I'm afraid that oftentimes those subscription things just can't cater to our very unique anatomies and our very specific dietary needs. So not villainizing, I'm not saying they're a bad thing. They might be a good sort of gateway into making your own meals. But overall, I think there's a better alternative. And that's what I want to really focus on today. The idea of CSA boxes. And CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So this whole community supported agriculture idea really is a bit like a co-op, and it's great for the local farmer because they know kind of going into the season how many people they have to grow for. So instead of just planting a zillion seeds and hoping they can sell what they need, an established CSA is going to have a relationship with its customers. They're going to kind of know what likes and dislikes people have, but the main thing is they know quantity-wise whether they support 40 families or 60 families, depending on your area and your farmer. So it helps them kind of streamline their operation, which keeps the cost down. I talked briefly about the environmental impact of these kind of shipped, ready-made meal prep kits. Their environmental impact here is fantastic in that all of this stuff comes from within, say, 30 miles, maybe at the most 60 miles. And so you don't have the plastic packaging, you don't have necessarily the fuel costs of moving it around the country. And also you're getting these fruits and vegetables at the height of their nutrition, right? So food is only, at its best once, and then after that, it's sort of a downward curve on nutrition and flavor and color and all those things. So the closer, and we talked about this in some of the earliest videos we did, that supporting local farmers markets and local farmers, or even if you can grow it yourself, is the best. But obviously, if you're going through treatment, you might not be able to do some of those things, even if you enjoy them. So having that relationship with a local farmer, I think, is brilliant. Now, where do you find the CSA? Typically at a farmer's market or at a health food store. You'll find that a lot of your regional or, again, local health food stores will have information. And if you don't see something, ask somebody. There usually is a CSA in your community. It was really popular in the 90s. It kind of waned for a bit. And now, especially in kind of these college towns where you have a couple of health food stores, you're going to find CSAs. So again, just to kind of show what might be in a box. The great thing is it's very seasonal, hyper seasonal. You're not going to get very delicate lettuces in the hottest months of summer. And at the point we're taping this now, it is summertime. So what you see in front of me are things like corn, and corn can be a little high in sort of the natural sugar side of things. But as a vegetable, I love to use it raw in salads. And it's kind of a limited season, and then it's gone. So enjoy it while you have it. It's great in soups and stews. The other thing is tomatoes, and those two things go really well together. And tomatoes, once they are in season, people are giving them away to the point. I mean, everybody's desperate for tomatoes in the spring, and once you hit summer, tomatoes are everywhere. And again, we've talked about tomatoes as it's both sort of a fruit and a vegetable. So you can use it in a gazpacho, you can use it in a soup or in salads, or just an open-faced tomato sandwich. A lot of great uses for that. The apples actually on the table here are from my apple tree. I have one apple tree that produces probably 300 pounds of apples every year. I give lots of them away, but I incorporate them any way I can into different applications, baking, salads, whatnot, or even just as a healthy snack. And I should point out that some of the things that you get in a CSA might not be the prettiest fruits and veggies, because they typically are organic. They haven't been treated with pesticides or herbicides, so they're going to have little bumps and blemishes and bruises. And quite honestly, that's kind of the way I feel about myself. Is I've got my scars, but the scars are superficial. So again, to me, the great thing about a CSA is when you get a box, and usually there's either a pickup point or some places actually deliver it to you, you have maybe a rough idea what's going to be in there, and oftentimes the farmer will send out an advance notice of a few things that will be in the box. But oftentimes you'll find surprises, like a couple of turnips might be in there. When's the last time you did something with turnips? And that's the other thing that kind of excites me about the sort of surprise goodie bag sort of aspect of CSAs, is that I might not have just picked up a turnip because I was craving one, but when I have one and I've paid for it and it's in my box, I'm going to find a way to kind of utilize that. So it kind of makes me not in a stressful way, but it inspires me to kind of push me outside maybe my comfort zone. I remember the first time I got kohlrabi, which kind of looks like that. It's in the cabbage family, big kind of cruciferous vegetable. Didn't know what to do with it. And 20 years ago, when you got something you didn't know what to do with, you had to ask somebody. And now the entire world of knowledge is on your phone or on your laptop or on your pad. So you can look these things up and try it. And if you don't like it, well, then you can tell your farmer that, I didn't really care for that. And they'll kind of start to customize and learn you. It becomes really a genuine relationship between you and someone in your community who is growing food. I don't want to say for the right reason, but for the right reasons, in that, yes, they're trying to make a profit and eke a living out, but more importantly, they're proud of their food. They want to push forward these healthy, nutritious foods at the peak of their nutrition. And it kind of becomes this closed loop where you're supporting not only your health, you're also supporting your local economy and your local farmer. Oftentimes you'll get fun things like fresh herbs thrown in, which if you've watched any of the previous videos that we've done, herbs, once you have them, they kind of grow like a weed, and oftentimes they become a weed. So the farmers are happy to kind of throw some of those in a Ziploc bag, and so you'll have lots of things to play with. So at the moment, I've got zucchini and patty pan squash, which looks like an alien spacecraft, and some cabbage and some Napa cabbage there, spaghetti squash, beets. It's so inspiring to me. And yes, again, I cook, right? This is what I love to do. But if you can turn that sort of chore or task of having to make a meal into something where it becomes your time in the kitchen, put on a podcast, put on some great music, spend some time in the kitchen, knowing that all of the effort and work that you do preparing this meal for yourself or for your family, or if you're the caregiver, if you're making this for your loved one who's going through their GI cancers, this is a great way to show your love and make food that nourishes them all the way top to bottom, inside and out. So again, not villainizing the ready-made meal kits. There's a time and a place for that, but especially if you have food difficulties or food issues, I would suggest, if you want to go that sort of more natural food way, try a CSA, a community-supported agriculture project. There are a lot of them out there, and I guarantee if you look, you'll find them in your community. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and look forward to seeing you next time in the Gesundheit Kitchen.